Good morning, students. We are going to continue with the same chapter, that is laws of motion. Students, yesterday we studied the statement of Newton's second law of motion, and we reached an expression delta P by T is equal to F. That means F is equal to m, and delta P means change in momentum, which can be written as mv minus u upon t. Further we can write F is equal to m into a, that is v minus u upon t will be equal to a. So we got this expression of Newton's second law of motion, which is F is equal to m into a. Now we can have relationship between force, mass and acceleration. Let us see first. Okay, if you write this expression as A is equal to F upon m, we can say that acceleration is directly proportional to force and it is inversely proportional to mass. So we can write acceleration is directly proportional to force, which means to say that if you apply more force on a body, we can produce more acceleration on it. So when you draw the graph or plot the graph for an acceleration against the force, we will get an inclined line. That is, if you consider this axis as acceleration, this as the force, then we are going to get a straight line which is inclined to the x-axis. From this, we can also see that force is directly proportional to mass of the body, which means to say that if the body is heavier or has a great mass, then we need to apply great amount of force to produce acceleration on it. So here we can see more the mass, more force is required to produce acceleration. So here also the graph of force against mass will be a straight line inclined to the x-axis. This is force against mass, which will be an inclined line. Now coming to the third relation, that acceleration is inversely proportional to mass of the body, which means to say that if a body has greater mass, with the force applied on it, it can produce a very small acceleration. So more heavier the body is, less acceleration the body can produce on applying force on it. So it is an inversely proportional to the mass of a body. So for this, the graph will be curved graph. The graph will be curved. Now we are going to discuss some examples based on Newton's second law of motion, which will be from our daily life only. Let's see. So before coming to the examples, let us first see SI and CGS unit of force. SI unit of force is Newton. and 1 Newton is equal to 1 kg meter per second square. So we can define 1 Newton as the force applied on a body of mass 1 kg will produce an acceleration of 1 meter per second square. Once again, 1 Newton is the force when acts on a body of mass 1 kg can produce an acceleration of 1 meter per second square. This way we can define 1 Newton. Let us now come to CGS unit. And CGS unit of force is dyne. We can write 1 dyne is equal to 1 gram centimeter per second square. So we can define 1 dyne as the force when acts on a body of mass 1 gram produces an acceleration of 1 centimeter per second square. This will be the definition of 1 dyne. Now let us see relationship between Newton and dyne. How can it be? So 1 Newton is equal to 10 to the power 5 dyne. How can we obtain this? We can obtain this relation from here, where you know 1 Newton is equal to 1 kilogram per meter per second square, which means 1 meter per second square. Now since we are going to express Newton into dyne, which is the CGS unit, so all these units should be converted into CGS unit, where you know kg, that is mass, SI unit is kilogram, but CGS unit is gram. Same way for meter will be changed into centimeter. So we will get 1000 gram into 1 meter means 100 centimeter per second square. So you can see the number of zeros 3 and 2, that means all together 5 zeros are there. So we can write 1, that is 10 to the power 5 gram centimeter per second square. And as you know, gram centimeter per second square is nothing but dyne. You can see gram centimeter per second square is equal to 1 dyne. So instead of writing this, we can write 1 Newton is equal to 10 to the power 5 dyne. So this is what we have obtained. 1 Newton is equal to 10 to the power 5 dyne, and this is the process. Let us now come to the examples based on Newton's second law of motion. So next we have examples of second law of motion. As we know that F is equal to delta P by T. It means to say that change in momentum in a body can be brought about either by applying a large force for a small duration or by applying a small force for a large duration. Once again, change in momentum in a body can be brought about either by applying a large force for a small duration or by applying a small force for a long duration. For example, when a cricketer hits a ball, it is found that the ball is being hit for 6, but the contact between the ball and the bat is only for a very small duration. But the force applied is very large, and is because of the large force being applied on the ball, you find the ball going for a 6. Same is the case when we hammer a nail. Here also we apply a large force for a very small duration. So this is what meaning we can obtain from Newton's or from the expression of Newton's second law of motion. Let us now see some examples where you find a small force is exerted when the change in momentum is brought about in a very large duration. For example, you might have seen when a cricketer takes a catch or while catching a ball, it is observed that the cricketer takes the hand backward or withdraws the hand. They do not bring their hands close to the ball to catch it. Instead, what do? They withdraw their hands back. The reason is that when they withdraw the hands, the duration of the ball to come into rest increases. And as the time increases, the force exerted by the ball on the hand will be very less. So it does not cause any pain to the cricketer while taking catch, or any person when takes a catch, it does not get hurt. This is one example of Newton's second law of motion. You might have seen that when we drop a glass or any glass container on a floor, it immediately breaks. But the same glass vessel, when it is dropped on the carpet or on the sand, it does not. The reason once again is same. When we drop the glass vessel on the floor, the glass vessel comes into rest in a very small duration. That is, the time duration is very less for the ball to come into rest, and as a result large force is exerted. So because of this large force exerted by the floor on the glass vessel immediately breaks. But when the same glass vessel is dropped on the sand, you find the sand gets pushed downward to a little distance. That increases the duration of time for the glass vessel to come into rest. As a result, less force is exerted on the glass vessel and it does not break. Same is the case when a person takes a high jump and lands. So you might have seen that it is the carpet that is laid on the floor, or they land themselves on the sand. The reason once again is same. After taking a long jump, when they land on the sand here also pushes to little distance. As a result, the duration for the body to come into rest increases. And as the time increases, the force exerted on the person will be very less. So the person does not get hurt. So these are the examples we have from our daily life from Newton's second law of motion. Hope the points are clear to you. Your homework will be to learn all these examples, and next class I will give you the question answers. Thank you.